Hey again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Wheel of Albums. Along with my brother Adam and our friend Jack, I'm Justin. What we do here on Wheel of Albums is we spin a wheel to 1001 albums you must hear before you die. We listen to that album for a week. We get back to you. We let you know if we think it's an album that you must hear before you die. This week I spun the wheel. I got a band from Providence, Rhode Island named Lightning Bolt and their 2003 release, Wonderful Rainbow. I'm trying to go back in my mind to see if I ever remembered hearing of this band. There was so much new music. I don't recall Lightning Bolt ever coming across my radar. So knowing about all the two-piece bands from back in the 2000s, I was a little bit excited to see what Wonderful Rainbow was all about. Adam, Jack, what'd you guys think on the spin?
Okay, I've never heard of this artist before. I'm willing to give it a shot. It's a rock band from the 2000s. Okay, I think it might be good.
I had never heard of Lightning Bolt and was only provided a short synopsis that they are part of something called noise rock. I'm going in with an open mind and open ears, and like everybody's favorite dad says, if you're not careful, you may learn something before it's done.
Lightning Bolt was, the first reaction is kind of like, it sounds cool. The first three songs, they sound pretty good. And then you realize, just like an annoying coworker that just doesn't know when to stop a conversation, it just keeps going and going. You're only 5 minutes into a mandated 40-minute conversation. God help me, this is going to be a long week.
Before even listening to the album, I wanted to get a taste of what these guys were about. So I looked up the video, or just a video in general from this album for Dracula Mountain, and it shows the two guys on stage. Pretty much the audience is on stage with them, and they start cranking out, surf rock on the bass, and then the drummer comes in, and your first reaction, it's kind of like a quick dopamine hit where you're like, all right, this is awesome, but like with all dopamine hits, quickly goes away when realizing you have a whole album of this that you're going to have to listen to without melody or hooks. And that's a hard sell once you get into the core of Wonderful Rainbow.
I too studied up on the musicology, music theorem of noise rock, noise punk, whatever it may be delineated as.
Professor Adam, tell us more.
Professor Adam here with another installment of What Are We Listening To? This week we dive into noise rock. So noise rock is a subgenre of rock music that originated in the late 1970s and early 80s, fusing rock music with abrasive sounds, extreme guitar distortion, and feedback. The genre is characterized by its confrontational and often experimental nature, utilizing unusual song structures, unconventional instrumentation, and a raw, distorted sound that can range from aggression to expansive soundscapes.
I appreciate the professor's good words and research into the topic. After reading and reviewing and getting ready to settle in, I was really kind of hoping for something along the lines of a band called Johnny Foreigner, who plays a incongruent multiple songs at once, which I kind of like that. This one, not so much. It took a few listens, but I think I've cracked the code of Lightning Bolt. I like it in small doses, like Ministry would throw it in Jesus Built My Hot Rod, where there is some hard to decipher lyrics. There's some just pure noise, I guess, for lack of a better word, until it forms its song. It rises from the caveman origins into a traditional song, but not so much here on Wonderful Rainbow.
As far as Wonderful Rainbow and Lightning Bolt and noise rock, it's just not a genre I've ever thought about venturing into. When I think of all the duos since the turn of the century, of course the White Stripes and Japan Droids would be my 1 and 2 right off the top of my head. The Kills, thinking of them, I really liked a lot of the stuff they had back in the 2000s. As far as this goes, it's just not something that I would listen to on a daily basis because of age, or just because the sound of Brian Chippendale, which is a great freaking name for anybody, Brian Chippendale, the drummer. Something else about Brian Chippendale, he's also the singer. After the other singer left the band, they were once a three-piece band. Brian Chippendale took over. He puts a ski mask on has a microphone in that ski mask in which he sings. What do you guys think about that?
They're inventive. They came up with that. They're a bass and drum only outfit. They're just coming up with weird, cool metal riffs. The fact that the drummer wears that while he sings, if he's singing, I'm not sure what he's doing there. Maybe it's a little close to his mouth, more of a like gurgling sound.
The vocals are enhanced, if you will, through a landline telephone receiver microphone filtered into a traditional recording system that is also sewn into a ski mask. The question being, would I ask for this device for a Christmas gift? If I can't pull that trigger on my future ventriloquism career, just maybe I'll ask for a landline telephone receiver microphone sewn into a ski mask.
Mom, Dad, it's the ski mask I've always wanted. Wait, there's a microphone in this thing? Oh my gosh.
I don't want that. Maybe if I'm going to rob a bank and I don't want them to know my voice and I don't want them to understand anything. If I say, could I have your money? Or they don't know if I'm asking, may I use the washroom, sir? That's not a good gift. It's not a good technique for singing either.
Going back and listening to a couple of the songs I liked, which was like Assassins and Dracula Mountain, they're pulling out some cool sounds. So they're very inventive, and we'll give them that much for this album.
I will say The Crown of Storms is the one song on this album that I really wish there was a few more of. Like the way that song builds, like the tension feels more like it's organic compared to a lot of the other songs on here.
A lot of good duos out there that I have listened to and like. Black Pistol Fire, The White Stripes, Japan Droids,
Eurythmics,
Daft Punk,
Royal Blood.
How about Outkast?
Hall & Oates,
Black Keys.
Definitely Beach House.
Seals and Croft.
And then you ask, is Lightning Bolt with these folk? And the answer is no.
Then I think Lightning Bolt fits in there somewhere before you get to Milli Vanilli and Crisscross.
I don't think they quite fit there. They're doing their own thing, and they're doing it for themselves. They're not. I don't think they're trying to sell records.
And even music out of Rhode Island, throwing mooses they are not.
And people that could probably, some duos that are non-musical that could probably pull off the same thing as what Lightning Bolt is doing. I'll give you two examples. Herb and Marv from Home Alone. That's one. And then I'm thinking Dumb Donald and Mushmouth from Fat Albert. Dumb Donald's got the ski cap on.
That's a great point, Adam. He should just sew a microphone in there.
Just shove the microphone up there and let him get down on the drums. And I'm sure Mushmouth would be perfect on the bass.
Okay, all right. So to be in all fairness, 1001 albums you must hear before you die. This is a tough sell for me.
This is a little crazy.
But after seeing the live footage, maybe 1001 live experiences.
They don't even like a stage. They play on the ground. They make their noise. The people seem to enjoy it to a certain degree. They really strike me more as a live band where you can just say, yeah, I experienced it. These two guys were going nuts, making a lot of noise, and we were all sweaty, bumping into each other, having a hell of a good time. But I'm not sitting on my beanbag with my big headphones on, enjoying what they're putting down. It just doesn't do it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, that's taking every song and giving it a score of 1 to 10 and then dividing that by the songs on Wonderful Rainbow, we all consistent in giving this in the 3 range for a final tally of 3.683. And our favorites on here: Assassins, Dracula Mountain, and Crown of Storms. Our least favorite being the opener, Hello Morning.
Our good friend Bill Cosby, America's favorite dad, Bill Cosby, said, if you're not careful, you may learn something before it's done. I learned that I don't particularly care for Lightning Bolt, but I have figured them out. And I figured you out too, Mr. Dimery or Dimery, well, however it's pronounced, because I've never met you. Long story short, no, you shouldn't listen to it before you die. They put it on the list, I think, for this reason, and this reason only. It's like when you visit a circus and you say, oh, look at that guy, that's a trapeze guy, he's great. Oh, that clown, he's hilarious. And who can leave the circus without seeing a freak show. Dimery put this in here because Lightning Bolt is the freak show. They're doing their own thing. They're having a good time. Bless their hearts for doing it. I listen to it. You don't have to. I strongly suggest you don't. Listen to a couple seconds of Jesus Built My Hot Rod. You'll be in good shape. That's all you need.
Adam, what do you think? What is your answer?
Is a big fat Albert no. Not a fan of noise rock, and I think there are better noise rock albums out there to listen to. I'm probably sure of it. Something along the lines of having some guitar in there, maybe. Now, for me, this album kind of went down tough. I compare it to eating black licorice or anchovies. And just for the record, I really, really like the song Assassins, and I really like Dracula Mountain. But after those, it just kind of slowly went downhill when I lost interest.
All right, let's make it unanimous. I also would say no, you do not need to listen to this before you die. Check out the video that I've got linked in case you're interested. Video of a live performance of Dracula Mountain. A little taste. You know, like whenever you go to the ice cream shop and you don't know what flavor you want, and it's like, oh, could I try maybe a taste of that butter pecan there? And they give you a little taste. That's all you need of this. Adam Europe, give that wheel a spin for our next listen, please.
Well, all right. The wheel has been spun for the diverse and eclectic Forever Changes by Love.
All right, Forever Changes will be up next for Adam and Jack. I am Justin. We'll see you next week. And now for my niece's reaction to Wonderful Rainbow in a segment we call What's Today's Youth Think of Music from the 2000s?
Emmeline, give me your honest opinion about Lightning Bolt upon first hearing the song Assassins.
It is really ridiculous at the at the beginning, and it is. Why would anybody ever want to write it or listen to it?
And what did you say when you first heard it?
It is ridiculous.
And I think the words that came out of your mouth was, "This is nuts."
Nuts.
All right.
And therefore, I want to be alone in my box, and I don't want you near it, and I don't want you to touch it. Don't touch my box.